Okay, so on today's session, we are going to go over compilation, basically the compilation of our code, and what is code, and what is, what is compilation, and what happens when you compile your code and turn your code into an actual library of DLL or executable. And then we're going to go over what a library or DLL or an executable and references to libraries, what it is. So, first things first, compilation. I mean, we have been doing it, but really, what is it? When I say, well, let me ask you a question. Have we ever compiled our code?
Pretty much every time we build it, right?
That's right. That's right. Yes. Dave, do you agree with that?
I agree.
Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So compilation is turns your code into an executable of some sort, being DLL, library, normal executable, etc. Okay, well, that's pretty much it right there. And that is pretty straightforward, right? That right there is pretty straightforward. We're not gonna go into too much in depth today on how it actually on what the meat. What is it? The bones, meat and bones, and the guts of the system and the .NET, how .NET handles compilation. But we know now that it turns your code into executable. And it does this into, well, let's just give it a little bit. How about that? Let's see, my friend over there. All right, got too many things. Let me just kill this. Okay, so here we go. So let's do C# compilation. IL code. Let's see if they help us here. All right. I mean, no, we should have gone with just images here. I mean, we're definitely going to go in it. All right. Is this helpful for us now? No, we don't want to do this now. But let's see. So the only thing you need to know now is like when we compile, .NET turns our code into some kind of executable library. Okay. And that code, there's some kind of code that is called intermediate code, or IL for short, or is also called MSIL for, what do you think the MS stands for?
Microsoft.
That's right, Big Daddy Microsoft. Microsoft intermediate code. And yeah, so pretty much there's the intermediate code somewhere. And the cool thing is that, remember that I mentioned that right now we're using C#, right? But we can use C++ in .NET. We can program in C++, Java, Python, pretty much any language. C in here, right? And all that turns into the same. It turns into missile code or intermediate code. Okay. And then that code is run by the .NET framework. So the good thing about that is, well, what is the one good thing about it? Let me know. So, well, give me a, why would that be good? Why is it good? So I'm gonna say any language. All right, Dan, why is it good? To
It helps you to navigate. Like you only have to memorize one language in a sense, and that language might be easier to write than whatever the actual code that gets put out. So, in a sense, all code is an intermediate code.
.NET Framework. And second runs it. All right, intermediate language. Well, not almost any language, but yeah, I guess any language.
You guys are hearing me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, that's weird. I might have the wrong microphone on.
Sometimes we don't though. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's like if my mouse is hovering over a different window, it won't work.
Hmm. All right.
But I'm gonna switch my mic real quick because I'm supposed to use. I have a nice mic that I can use for talking, and I
Oh,
think I'd have to shout at the room at you guys at this point.
no problem. Yeah, go ahead. Let's see. Framework. Right here. Actually, I'm gonna lower. Oh wait, this is not supposed to be, and this is supposed to be smaller.
Test, test. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Am I sounding good?
Perfect. Now we can hear you. That is perfecto. Okay, so yeah, so again, so we write the code in our Visual Studio in any language pretty much, right? C Sharp, C, Java, and then Visual Studio, or the runtime, turns it into intermediate language. And then we can run that intermediate language on the .NET framework, which is on your computer or any computer that has it installed, of course. Okay, so do you guys see how powerful this is? Because normally, right? Are you guys ready for this? Because this is cool.
I'm listening.
Okay, normally if you run anything, let's say if I have C or C++, or actually or Java, for example, if I write anything in Java and then I compile it, it's going to compile it normally into Java code. Okay, so then I can only run that on, I don't know, something that runs Java. I mean, this is kind of a crappy example, but well, it's not a crappy example. It's just simple example. Okay, and then let's say I write something on C++. I compile it. It's gonna compile into a C++ kind of language, right? Or the library or whatever, and then that has to be run on something that runs and understands C++. Okay. So, but with the .NET framework, you can write, and it always goes, like any language goes into the same kind of package that can be understood by the .NET framework, which is pretty handy. It's very powerful. Again, I don't want to excuse me, spend too much time in this, but all I want you to get from this now is that when we compile, it turns into kind of an intermediate package, intermediate language package, and then that is run on the framework. The framework runs it. Is that clear? Is that straightforward?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. It's not difficult. Okay, so now here's the goods right here. What is what is an executable? Because this is kind of
It's the program you execute to do whatever the thing is that you
yeah,
want to do.
yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. Oh, so with this mic, we get the feedback, I think, a little bit.
You can probably hear my fan.
No, no, no. I mean, like, if we talk at the same time, it's good. It's good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's fine. Don't worry. Okay, so, well, let me see. That's the wrong question. That is the wrong question. Okay, so when we compile our code, okay, I'm going to ask two questions, and one of you has to give me an answer, or, well, different answer, or each of you. Okay. So when I compiled my code, give me two reasons why I'm compiling it, and what would I be trying to create when I compile my code. Okay. Now, Dan, hit me. Give me one.
I mean, we want to be able to run the code at a later date.
Yeah, but what are you trying to create? Run what?
I mean, that depends on what we're making.
Well, that is the question. What you created a program in your mind, anything in the world, and you have compiled it. What have you created and why?
This is getting all existential on me.
Well, no, it's simple. It's simple. Is it a game? Like, what do you need to like? What kind of stuff would it be? What is it?
I mean, I think the purpose is mostly irrelevant. Somebody's going to have to run it at a future time.
Okay, yeah. But what do you mean when you run it? How do you want to run it? How do you run your program? How would you want somebody to run it?
You're losing me. There's a barrier here.
No, exactly.
I click on the program and it runs.
Okay, that is the answer I wanted. Yes, that is exactly the answer I want. And yeah, this is good because this is a discussion. This is we're developing ideas and coming and getting an answer and getting better at it. Yeah, that is exactly the answer I wanted. Let me get back here. Yes. So in your program, the way it would be used is someone would click on it. That is your answer, right? Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay. No. Yeah. That's a correct answer. That is a good answer. Someone.
We could work at kernel runtimes and stuff like that, but
Well, no. I mean, that one answer. One answer. Let's see. So you get some kind of executable where somebody clicks on it and it opens up the game. It does something. That's what your program would do, and that is what you compiled your program to do, right?
yes.
Okay. Dave, what about you? Give me a different one if you can think of one. Of what kind of other program can you create? Or what kind of package, or what can you package your code into something that how would it be used if you could package your code to be used in a certain way?
Well, it should be able to perform a task.
Yeah, sure. So your kind of program, it would be the same. Somebody would click on it and then it would do something.
Well, let's say the boss wants me to create a program
Hmm.
that specify certain instruction.
So on a schedule or something.
Right, like a schedule. Right.
So it would be a self-run program that runs something every 2 hours or something. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right. So yes, it's an executable. I'm just making, don't get hung up on the executable. So I'm just gonna get program here. Program.
I mean, are we doing something other than executables in this?
Well, that's where we're going to, and we are. Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. You'll see. You'll see what I mean. It's easy. I'm just trying to get you guys to think in a certain way, or guiding you to a certain way. So self runs or just runs a task every 2 hours or on a schedule, right? There you go. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is good. This is good. So far our programs are pretty much most of the programs that we have used are programs that you click on it and they do something, or that you click on it, they install somewhere, and then they run some kind of schedule, right? A scheduler. Is that accurate? Yes. Hello, hello.
I don't know if you're looking for me, but I'll agree with you.
Okay, yeah. No, yes. I'm always looking for you guys all the time. Okay, so let's call these program types. And I gotta remember, we're trying to reach kind of a certain way of thinking, or trying to get an idea by going through certain modes of thinking. Remember, you guys are kind of engineers now and architects, so you have to get your mind sort of going that way. Uh,
Actually, looking at this, we're typing out. I have a question.
yes,
We were talking about MSIL
yes.
and program types. Does that have some relation to the MSI program type?
Not really. They're all made up of missile code. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But these are different types of well, let's see, program type one.
Well, I mean, like an MSI is, I think it's actually a Microsoft installer, but it has a
Yeah, no,
nice-
that's different. I always got those confused too. Those bastards. Yes, MSI is a it's a. At first, I used to get them confused. Yeah, MSI is an installer. It's something different. And that again is a different kind of program. But no, they're not related. They're definitely not related. Um, yeah, at the beginning I used to like, what the heck is an MIS file? Does I know what it is? But anyway, so yeah, so there's a program type that you click on it and it does something. Another one that installs something, and then run some kind of task. Okay. Can you guys tell me? Can you think of any other kind of program type that I can compile my code into? It's okay if you don't, but give it a minute, give it a second. Mhm. Let's see. No,
I'm drawing a blank.
none of
I used a couple of them, but I don't remember.
that's well, we have been using them all over the place. But it's important for you guys to recognize them for what they are. All right, Dave. Anything? No.
Nothing.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so now, what about? Well, let me ask you a question. All these like, we have been using when we write code. We have been using functions and objects and classes. And did we create all the classes and objects and functions that we have used so far? For example, did we create the controller class?
Nope.
Are you sure? Yeah, we did
Yeah,
not.
We did not.
Yeah, we did not. um, and how about the class home controller that we create? Well, actually, we did. In fact, did create that. But did we create the class action control? I mean, action result?
Negative.
No, we didn't. Okay. So, how about the function to connect to the database? Did we create this function here, or this class here, did we create that in some, like, in the actual code base? No. All right. And last question. I know these are easy questions. I'm sorry. Did we create the code to add a character? I mean, add a character to the database, like the actual.
Nope.
No, we did not. Okay, so
We used it, but we didn't create it.
exactly, yeah, we used it, but we didn't create it. We're building our code on top of someone else's code, right? So we are in effect we're using someone else's library. Okay, so I want you to become familiar with that term because we're going to be using that term very, we're going to be using it all the time. It's a library, yeah, it's a library. So I'm going to write it right like this. Bam. So what would a library be? What do you think is a library? It's a what? So
It's got a list of instructions that we want to possibly call into.
yeah. So it's a library of functions. Yeah. A library of functions and objects that we can use. Isn't that sweet? So that's pretty much how we build things. It's like libraries are just prefabricated code that you can use to make yourself, to make your life much easier, to make your life easier. For example, there is the math library, right? Let's see. Well, let's say system.math. I don't even know if it's system.math. I'm just making it up. But you guys do remember that these represent namespaces, right? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so they represent namespaces, which are held in some kind of library somewhere. In fact, when we say, hey, using system.web.nvc, we're saying, hey, in this library, I want to access the NVC code or the NVC functions and objects, and that is located inside .web, the namespace .web, and the .web namespace is inside the system. So it's kind of like hierarchy, like a tree of keeping things in order. But again, all it means is, hey, this is where I want, I want to use this library, and the code is kept here. All right, and the system. So this is kind of the root library here in a way, and you keep a lot of cool stuff in there. So system.math. So the system.math library has what? What do you think? Well, math shit. Makes it easy to do math. Straightforward, right? Okay, so somebody out there, somebody super smart and awesome, made a library called system.math, and then they let us use it because it saves a lot of time. If we did not have the library system.math, how would it be easy for us to do math or kind of a pain in the ass? Yeah, it would be very difficult, especially when you get to kind of like the ugly math and the hard math. So again, all library is just pre-constructed functions that you can use that make it easy on you. Keep it simple. It's I don't know. It's like like when you play one of those games, like what's the name of that game where you build stuff and they have blocks?
Minecraft.
Yeah, that one. Yes. So imagine you play Minecraft, and that's what we're doing. As architects, coders, we are playing Minecraft. And was it?
Fun fact: you can actually build like a processor in Minecraft and have it run.
Yeah, that is staggering, and that is really good. Yeah, I saw a couple of things that you could do in Minecraft. They're getting crazy with it. Um, but so we're architects, and we're kind of in a world of Minecraft. So imagine if you had to build a castle, but you had to build it block by block, right? Okay. But imagine if there was some dude that's like, hey man, what's up? I got this cool library here that it makes it easier for you. So one of the functions and one of the things that you can use it is build bridge. And when you use build bridge, you could plop down a whole bridge, a huge bridge already made. That's sweet, right? And one of the other was that?
You know these things do exist as well, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting you guys.
It's
Yeah.
a cool example.
Yeah. And then there's another guy, or another call that says build towers. And then you grab it, and you just plop a tower down. And yeah, so it's that way you don't have to build the tower yourself. So all that is, it's a library that makes things easier for you. And again, this is very important for you to guys get this concept now, because once you encounter it, you understand it now, then you really don't have to think about it much later on. So it's very important for you to pay attention now and get the goods now, because it's something you'll do for the rest, pretty much forever, and good understanding. So yeah, so we have libraries. An example, math. We have one for .web, and we have one, for example, MVC, which lets you do cool stuff with MVC. And let's say they have one for cryptography, which lets you do what? Cryptography stuff. If you had to write your own cryptography library, it would take a very long time, and it would be very difficult to do so. And it would probably be broken really easily. I know mine would. But we got libraries for that. So yeah, so library. So let me ask you a question then. You guys have used the first type when you click it, the second type, and have we used the libraries so far?
We've been using a few, and
Yeah, we have. We've been using quite a few, right? Okay. So libraries. So as architects, our main job really is to use libraries to build our project or our vision, our castle, or whatever we're building. We use our libraries to build things. We could use them to build other libraries or to build executables. So from now on, I'm going to, let's call the program types, let's call them for what they are, right? Program type 1, let's just call it an executable of some sort, right? And then program 2, again, is another executable. Okay. Can you use an executable as a library usually? Not really. I mean, you click on it and then it does something, and then it itself uses other libraries and things to do its job. But the main job of an executable is to, do its task, but it's not to be used by anything else as a source of functionality. Same thing for 2. Okay, so now the third type is called library. And this is very important because this is what I'm getting at, or DLL. Okay, so now, have you guys heard the term DLL before?
dynamic linking library, is that it?
That is right. Dynamic linking library or dynamic link library. And basically it says it in the name. It's a library that you use and you link it to your project or your code, and you use it as a library pretty much. Let me see. Dynamic link. I think it's like library linking. I'm not sure. It's one of the two. Let's look it up quickly. How you guys doing? You guys awake? You fall asleep yet?
It's link, not linking.
Oh, it's link. Yeah. DLL dynamic link library. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, dynamic link. It's even one word somewhat. Dynamic link library. And yeah, it's not it's an easy concept for us because we as architects and engineers, that is what we do. We use a dynamic link library, which is it's a library and we dynamically link it to our project. So from now on, whenever we talk about a library or a DLL, this is what we are referring to. All right. Sometimes don't shoot me over here, right? Sometimes people or places or things might call executables DLLs as well. And
Okay.
yeah. So just get used to the word DLL being thrown around. Just know that a DLL means it's some kind of code that has been compiled. Is that cool? I think that is the best way to think about it. Yeah. What's up, Dan? You have a question?
Good enough.
Yes. Let's see. All right. So here we go. Dave, how you doing? So far, so good.
Good.
Okay, and again, it's good if you guys get this right now, which you probably do and have or have already, and that's good. That is good because it is the main concept as an architect that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we use. Okay, so now we are going to move on here, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the magic, a little behind the curtain. I'm going to show you guys some of the tricks over here. So, like I was saying, as architects and programmers, engineers, we use libraries to build our project. Whatever we're building, we use libraries, DLLs, and to do whatever we need to do, web pages or pretty much anything, games, anything. Okay. So in here, in our Visual Studio, check this out. Do you guys see where it says references?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to drop that bad boy down. I hope you guys are ready, all right? Let me know what you see.
Experience with these working with the Microsoft stuff. So.
Oh yeah. No, they can be tricksy sometimes. Boom! They could be a pain in the ass sometimes. All right. So let me show you guys the moops over here. This is the goods right here. Okay. So references. So let me show you these bad boys here. I'm gonna scroll down slowly. Don't get confused. Don't get scared. This is all right here. Okay. So what this means is this project here, like this cloud test, this project here, is using these references. What that means is it's using these DLLs, it's using these libraries. Or at least it has access to these libraries. Okay. And there they are. There's a bunch of them. It might not be using all of them, right? But you have a reference to each of these over here. So you are able to use them. Okay. So let me I am going to click on system.web. Okay, I clicked on system.web, and I am going to go around, and these are the properties for system.web, and I'm going to look around. Oh, do you guys see the description? I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is the name of this, this library or this DLL? Well, yeah, it's system.web.dll. Okay. And it tells you where it is. So you guys see where it is? It's in some kind of folder somewhere. And it's a .dll file. So normally those are what kind? It's the type of library, right?
Right.
Yeah. And what do we do with libraries? We use them. Yep. And that is what we're doing. We're using the resources inside. Yeah, we're using the resources inside pretty much. Okay, so let's see. How about system.drawing? It is called system.drawing.dll, and it's somewhere in your hard drive somewhere. And well, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. What do you think this library or this dynamic link library DLL would be used for? I mean, under normal circumstances. For drawing, right? Yeah. Straightforward. Okay. So this is good right here. XML, QLink. Yeah. So we got system, C#. So we got a whole bunch of libraries that make up your project and your code. Okay. So now, let me show you something here. Okay, so again, these are references to all these DLLs, these libraries that we are using. And at one point, right, you guys understand that system.drawing somewhere started out like this, right? And then it was compiled into this DLL, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Okay. So let me show you a little something here. I hope you guys need coffee. Wake up, baby, wake up. Told you it's about to go down here. Oh yeah. Okay, so let me see where we are. Actually, where are we? I have no clue where this project is. References, home controller. Oh, okay, so we're in cloud test, home controller. Still don't know, but anyway. Sources. Okay, so it's C users, C Herrera sources. Let's go over there somewhere. All right. Dave, how you doing? You awake?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's see. Source, repos, and cloud test. Cloud test. Okay. I'm gonna go to the bin. All right. Well, what do you guys think? Oh, by the way, this folder, all of you have this folder as well. The cloud test here. And this is what your project looks like on your hard drive. Let me show you. This is the solution, and when you click on it, this is what it looks like. These are all the files on your project. You got controllers. You have home controller there. You see it? That's where it is. Okay. Got models. You got scripts. You got you got the views. Okay. So there you have a folder called bin, which is stands for binary most of the time, but yeah, let's call it bin. And this is pretty much, this is where all your libraries and all your executables and everything ends up. Okay. Now, I want you to do me a favor. So you guys see all these references here, right? That we had before? Okay, so all these references and all these DLLs are in your project. That's where you can reference it. Or at least you could tell them that they are here. All of these are libraries. Okay. Also, do you see something else that is here? Let me know if you notice.
DLLs?
Yes. So our project, since our project is a kind of, it's a web project, it's a sort of library that is run by IIS in a way. Let's see, well, or an executable that is run by IIS. It's here. And ours uses all of these pretty much. But notice when we compile it, this is what it turns to. This is our DLL. This is our program here. In essence, this is our website. Okay. So now let me ask you a question here, because it's about to get a little weird. Okay, so now, so not only do we have, we have a DLL here, and it's being used by IIS. Again, if you don't get it all, it's all right. We will get better at this over time. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so this is our DLL here. Now, this is an important question. I'm going to ask you a very, very important question. Okay. I have created a controller in the home, right? And we created an action result called character. Basically, we created an action called create character. Okay. And we have something called character. We have a class called character that we are using. Okay. I know it's a stupid question, but I need you to say yes when I ask you the next question. So when we have our program here, right? And in our program, we have a definition for an action called create character and a class called character that has all these things. It has an ID, has a name, a class, and you got a lot of cool stuff here, right? In the class called character. Okay, so you guys understand that 100%?
Yep.
Okay. So let's say that I compiled my code, and it's totally compiled. I hit build here, and I build it. And let's see, it's gonna try to build here. It succeeded. In fact, I'm gonna change my code here, and I'm gonna force it to recompile again. Sometimes if there's no changes, it will not recompile. It will say, oh, you haven't changed anything. I'm not gonna do anything. But now, since I just changed something, it just did build succeed, and it's all good. So now I'm going to go to the folder, and do you guys see cloud test .dll and 6.14.931? Okay, so application extension, yes. So this is a freshly minted DLL, right? Are you with it? Okay. Now, I can give you, let's say this is cool. So I can give you, any of you, this DLL, Okay, so let's pick Dan. Dan, if I chose to, I could give you this DLL, and you could say, actually, let me, yeah, I can give you this DLL, and you could add a reference to this DLL. Okay, so let's say I had another project, and then I would reference that DLL. So then once I reference that DLL, I would be able to have access, and I would be able to use create character, and I would have access to the character class without having to create it because I am using yours.
Yep, sounds good so far.
Yeah. And because this DLL or this library has a definition for these things. So if anybody wanted to create character, we could just, hey man, here, use my DLL, and just say, hey, just hit create character, and you could use all the stuff and run it. Or hey, you need a DLL with a sweet character class because your character class sucks. Man, just use my character class. My character class is fucking sweet, right? And then just use my DLL right here. Give me 1 second. Okay. So pretty much that's what we're doing. We're saying when we say, ah, shit, I'm gonna be doing some system web shit with NVC. Man, why don't you just use this class? It has a lot of MVC related shit. It's like, oh, Razor. Oh, by the way, you know when we look at an HTML file, it's .cs HTML. Okay, this kind of view is called a Razor view, and the reason we can do that and the reason it understands it is because we're using this library, pretty much. So again,
that's how we view the code, not necessarily what we're writing in the code.
Well, it lets us mix this viewer. It interprets whatever we put in here into HTML, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah. It pretty much. If not, then we would just see like, jumbling and garbled stuff. Yeah. Okay, so again, it's not that hard concept, but it's very important that we hammer it and we go over it because you need to get it in order for for us to move on, and it needs to be kind of part of you. Because as a developer, as an architect, you're going to be using this and I'm doing this all the time, so the knowledge needs to be solid. I'm going to go ahead, right? And I don't think I've actually done this correctly here, but just to give you an example. Okay, don't freak out. I am gonna try to open another one. I don't even know if it is. Okay, I'm gonna open another Visual Studio. If it would let me and not crash. Okay, so I'm just gonna, sure, just, you know what? I'm gonna create a new one. Okay, new project. Okay, this dude is fine here. Yeah, sure. By the way, now that we're here, right? We're creating a web application here. And that's what web applications look like. The DLL type. If we wanted to create something like a Windows or like something that you click and once you click it, it does something, or like a little game or whatever, there are other kinds of projects that we can, or other kinds of things that it compiles to. You see, like Windows Desktop. Yeah, so there are other types of projects that your code could compile to. Ours compiles into a DLL that can be used as a website and does all sorts of cool things. And also as a library, because it's cool like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go here. NVC is fine. Okay. All right, get that coffee out. Get that coffee out. This is important, boys. This is important. No one said it's entertaining all the time. Gotta pay the piper here. But at least, again, the more attention you pay here, then you don't have to do it again, or it will become much easier. Kind of second nature. Okay, so I am here. I got my project. Boom, and I got a cool project. Look at that. And yeah, again, I don't think I have the right permissions, but anyway, I'm just gonna give you an idea of what some that I can do here. Okay. So, hey man, you know, I don't have a good character class or a good create character action, man. You guys know anybody, like anywhere I could get some? You know anybody? You do? Oh shit, where? So let me see. So you have a library, man? Okay, I'm gonna add a reference. I'm gonna right click here and say add reference, okay? All right, man, what's your library, man? Let me see where it's at. I'm gonna browse. So where's your library? Where can I find your library? Let me get some of that.
Info what the bin folder.
I think it was in
Your path.
yeah, the path is the tricksy part. I think it was in C, and then users. Was it what? C Herrera, I guess. Yeah, sure. And then it might have been source, and then repos, and cloud test, and bin. So is this your library player right here? Okay, so I'm gonna add it, and then I'm gonna say okay. So now let's see. There it is. I'm using your project or your library as I have a reference to it. So any types that were defined or any functions that were defined that other libraries can use it or other code can use it, then I'll be able to use it. Again, I'm not sure if character is accessible from here because I don't think I set it to, but let's see. So I'm gonna say var. Oh, okay. This is gonna be interesting too if it works. Very interesting. So var car, and then you. Do we even have character? I don't think we have character. Well, let's see character. Show potential fixes using cloud test. Okay. So right now it doesn't know. Hey man, because remember we have a reference to it, but we're not telling. Sorry, Dan. Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta figure out what that noise is.
Yeah.
We're using we didn't declare it at the top.
Yeah. So we have a reference to the DLL, but we have to tell this guy, hey man, whenever you're here, reference, use this right here. So let's say use cloud tests. Let's see. Using cloud test and equals new var my car, because car is a reserved word. There you go. Or actually we could just call it character. Why not? Yeah, look at that, man. Oh shit, so you got a sweet class called character in your DLL in your library? That's good shit. So, well, let me see. I don't know what kind of stuff you have. What can your character do? How can I go ahead and check that out? Anyone know?
Anyone know?
You want to find that dot.
That dot, right? So let's check that dot. And 1 second. Let me blip. And let me just put it down here. So yeah, I want to find that dot, man, to see what kind of stuff you can do, because I don't know, man. You just told me that it's there, but I don't know what does it do. Okay, so okay, so I have a class. All right, how many draws? All right, how much HP, ID, losses? Nice, man. I like your class, man. I like your class. I noticed that your class doesn't have any what? What are we missing in your class? Does your class do anything? Does it have any methods? It doesn't.
We didn't have those yet.
No, not in this one. This is a special class. But yeah, so your class is alright, you know, it's alright. I mean, we could use methods and whatnot, but right now it doesn't have any. But it has all these cool properties that are really nice. And again, it saves me the work and the time to create new classes, right? Which is important. And you know, that is kind of what we want here. So this is good. Also, so another important thing to get from here is that you see the namespace cloud test. That's what we told it. That's where we're keeping all our code. So this character is in the namespace cloud test. If we were to put it somewhere else, then we would need to say, because remember, it's a way of separating or keeping your things in order. So if we were to put it somewhere like cloudtest.classes or cloudtest.objects or whatever you want to name it, that's up to us. Yeah, but we put it in cloud test. But yeah, that's kind of like a library and references to other libraries that we have to make things easier for us and to save work. And if you have any kind of special knowledge or anything, you could create libraries to make the jobs easier for other people. Like one thing I did with my friend is like we created a library of, he does kind of Cisco stuff, firewalls, and they didn't have anything to calculate special IPs or special, I don't know, domains or whatever. And we did that. We made we made a program library that calculated all of that and made it easy. So all they need to do is just use it. So now that I have you here, and right here, tell me, do you guys remember the main tenets of programming, the main principles of programming? Because this is where they come into play. This is why they're important, and this is when they are important. Okay. So inheritance, in this case, it would be important because, hey, you know, I want to create my own character class, right? Using yours as a base. That way, I can just use the best of your class and add onto mine. That makes sense, right?
Making sense.
Yes, yep. And then you know, polymorphism sort of comes with inheritance, because then my class would be of both your class and my class. But most important of all, the next two are the ones that come into play here. Because abstraction, right? Just keep it simple. Okay. Let's say I am using your character class and it's all it all happens that you know what's up when you press that dot. When you press that dot, I'm gonna press that dot. When I press that dot, boom. Then you know, hey, does this person expose only the things I needed that are important? Did he expose 20 other things that I don't have, you don't want to know, or that I shouldn't know? You know, hey, maybe you messed up and you left out some kind of password field or weakness or some kind of hidden things that you were not supposed to, that you use internally. So this is when abstraction comes into play. Just keep it simple. Show what you can or what you want, hide the rest. Okay. And that's good. That's good. That makes sense here. Okay. And encapsulation again. Yeah. I mean, you have a character class. Everything we need comes with it. We don't need to pair it with anything else. We can enhance it, but we don't need anything else to make it work. That's what encapsulation is. You can use it, but you don't need anything else. It's a tight package. It's standalone. Okay, so we kept it tight and simple here. Okay. So yeah. So again, that is where these concepts come into play, and over time, as we program and we make things, they will come into play. Sorry, Dan, what's up?
No, sorry, that was a misfire.
No problem. Yeah, they will come into play as the more the better you get and the more you program. Okay, so I am going to close this web application. We're good with libraries, somewhat. Okay, so how do we feel about libraries? Okay, we feel somewhat okay about them, right? And executables, and so remember, all your code can turn into different kinds of projects. So at the end, I mean, into different kind of outcomes. At the end, if you want something to be clicked, you can make those kind of projects. Or if at the end you want something to be used by other people or to be used as a website, that it contains code to be used by something else, then you create a library or a DLL. All right, let's see. All right, how's your brains? You guys good?
Yep.
Okay.
Solid.
Okay. And so now, let's say I say, hey man, I think we don't know how to do things with email, man. I don't know how to do things. I mean, like I don't have anything to handle emails. I need you to go out there, do a search, and get some DLLs that have get an email library. So you guys would be cool enough and smart enough to go out there and try to search for some kind of DLL that has functions C# functions that we can use to make creating and handling emails easier, correct? Yes, of course. Or drawing, or making games, or math, or pretty much anything. That's what libraries do. And that's why we use them and they're so important. So now to throw you off a little bit, something here. If I were to take some of these out, just delete them for any kind of reason, what do you think would happen to your code?
If we're not using them, nothing.
That's right. Okay.
If we're using them, that would break everything.
Yes. So yeah. So really, one cool thing that C# has Visual Studio here, you see on each controller or in each class, you see these files here? This tells you, hey, this is not being used. These domains, these namespaces are not being used. You could just delete them. The only one that's being used is this guy here. And we know that because we did it before. We talked about it before. All right. Yeah. So again, it's not difficult. It's not a difficult concept, but it's a concept that we need to go through it, the steps very slowly, at least once, so you become familiar with it and then it becomes second nature. Yeah. So references, we're good. And when we compile, where can we find our code? Right here. Shablips. Oh yeah. So pretty much when we go to when we what happens when we deploy to a server, what happens is this. Okay, pay attention now. So when we deploy to the cloud or a server or anywhere, or even the local server, what happens is, let's say we deploy to a server somewhere, all these DLLs are copied onto a folder on the cloud. And whatever else is needed, our web pages, and then content or scripts. So non-code related things get somewhat packaged and they're sent over the net and done and sent to the server. So anything that is not code related, like HTML or JavaScript or pictures or anything of that sort, gets sent, right? But anything that is code related gets squished into libraries like these, and then that library is sent over there. For example, do you see like the home controller? Do you guys see this? There is no such thing as a home controller file. Like if you go here, you see this file doesn't get uploaded to the website. Anything with the .cs gets turned into, the code gets turned into, well, let me see. Yeah, the code is compiled and turned into this DLL. All right. Yeah, so remember, you got different kind of resources. Code resources and non-code resources like scripts, views, pictures, etc., etc. Okay, CSS, all that good stuff. So let's write that down actually. So a website is equal to its DLL and it's what? HTML, CSS, scripts, pictures, etc. Resources. Okay. Well, resources, yeah, that should be at the end, I guess, right? Or something like that. Let's see. Right here. Shablips. Alright. This is good here. Alright. Yeah, I know it might be boring, but this is important, fellas. This is it right here. This is where the money is. Just think, for anything that you're learning here, it is money. Just picture yourself with $5 in your pockets or more. That's right. That's all you need right there. But yes. All right. Yeah, so that is, that is as far as we're going to go when it comes to this today. It is, again, it's not a hard concept, but it's a concept that you have to see in action and then play in order for to get better understanding of it. So let me see. References and the okay. So can I put a check on this? References and DLL and how they work.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave, should I can I put a check in there? Will you put a check in there?
Yep.
Okay, so let me right here. Put this here. Move it up. Sweet. Oh, okay. I need to reminder. Okay, so yeah, I guess we should be good here. And that sort of clear namespaces a little bit more, I hope, as we go. And use of principles of programming as well. All right. Still got time, but remember that when we were registering or trying to get into, where was it? The cloud or something else, or the database, was it? That it says, hey, you need to register this, or you need to choose some kind of security way, or this is not going to work in 7 days. Do you guys remember that?
I forget what that was for. Something
Yeah.
about the.
Yeah, basically you needed to provide a phone number or an email. So we're going to use, I'm going to set it up, but if I forget or if I don't do it on time, we're just going to use our email, the one that we have for this, which is, what is it, a DM? Let me see. HM Hard, what is it? HNCodecamp@outlook.com. And you guys, I think, already know the password.
I have it written down if I don't remember it.
Yeah, I think so. I have to make sure that that is the correct one. But yes, if anything, our go-to is going to be HMCodecamp@outlook.com. And that is going to be the repository for anything. If you need to get some kind of login to check some stuff, do it there, etc., etc. So that's going to be, we're going to be using that to access stuff, I think. And again, hopefully you remember the password. If not, I'll double check it. Yeah, I think it's the same. Okay. Okay, so the plan today was to sort of go over this a lot faster, but I think it was better to take our time and do it correctly, because now we feel comfortable with it. It's, we don't have to go over it. We know what's up. Now when I say, hey man, is that library included in there or add that library, you guys know what it is. I don't need to tell you. Or maybe I might, I don't know, but at least, we've gone over it before. For the rest of the class, I was planning to do something here, or give you some kind of assignment, which I will. For the rest of the class, or until next time, hopefully let's try to finish this. Dave, I want you to work on use the character model and the game DBs. Do a create character page. Yeah, I guess create. Damn it, let me see. Which one would be easier? Well, we need to create a roster page and a create character page. So I want the roster page to have at least a delete function on it. So do you guys want to roll to see who gets what? Do a random somewhere. How do you do random? Well, I'm gonna do random for you guys. How about this? Uh, let's see. Random D20 online. You guys ready?
Ready, ready.
Okay. Oh, here we go. 1D20. What is this? Okay, so Dan, yours is the first roll.
Rolling.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Okay. Well, we haven't assigned which is which is kind of weird. So I guess the winner chooses which one they want. I don't know. So I'm gonna reset. Okay, Dave, your roll. Here I go. 15. Okay, so Dave, you choose what you want. Which one? Do you want A, the create character? Actually, yeah, the create character page. That includes the create character action too. It creates character. Or a roster page that can delete. Do we want to include edit in there too? Because edit would sort of edit it's kind of harder, or it was kind of the equivalent of create character. Yeah, I don't know. So let's just leave it at roster and delete, and then maybe start on editing once the other person ends or something, because somebody's got to lead or do first. But anyway, yeah, Dave, what do you want?
Create a roster page.
Okay, so you're creating a roster page. Okay, so Dan, how you doing, Dan? So you are creating. Wait, so creating a roster page. Okay, not creating character. Okay, so roster page. So you create the roster page with the delete. You have to include that delete function. Okay, Dan, I guess you're gonna have the heavier load for now, at least for now. We'll make it up later. Don't worry. You have the create character page, which I guess, I mean, again, is the whole HTML page and the action itself that saves it to the character page. I mean, to the database. One thing that I want you to do is that way you know each other's what you're creating. Use these actions. Okay. You could use the home controller for now. That's fine. Dave, also make sure you create a link for the roster. I mean, each of you create a link for the roster. But the roster action should be called roster. And, well, you could call the delete whatever you want, delete or something. Okay. And create character should be called create character. Yeah. And the second one, you could call it either create character or process create character. All right. I'm gonna put this down here just in case just so we don't forget. Okay, so I'll probably be thinking of something else to give you, Dave. But for now, think of this as good practice, and see, I mean, because each of them have different obstacles. One has loops and kind of different kind of routing because of the delete, and the other one is more work because of the typing and stuff and the processing of the fields. But yeah, so we'll see. I mean, we'll even it out later if it needs to be evened out, or we'll balance the work later if not. But again, remember, this is for your own benefit and for your own construction, and you guys will be doing the opposite next time in a different way. So It's all good. Okay, so you guys, you can well feel free to start now and stop whenever you want, and just have it done as you can. Now,
Uh,
what? Sorry.
I was gonna say, can I get a minute to use a bio or?
Oh yeah, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
give me 1 second. Officially, we're done, but I'll be back a little bit later. I'll be around, but I'm gonna be stepping out and back in and out. But yeah, once we're done with this, we're done, and it's up to you to finish and work on your project. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember, I mean, you guys know how to get latest and upload and all that stuff. So yes. All right, I am gonna stop recording.